Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is NGS, and thank you so much for clicking on the video. We're not even going to get into theatrics. We are just going to cut all that BS and talk about the Sorcerer Supreme himself. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are reviewing Doctor Strange. This was my ticket that I got when I saw it in IMAX 3D. I think in the early previews is what they're calling it now. But the early previews might as well just be opening day at this point. But yeah, pretty awesome design right here. If you've been following the channel for a few years, you would know that Doctor Strange was one of my most anticipated movies ever. The second I heard Kevin Feige had a thought, like seriously a thought that, yeah, we might want to do Doctor Strange at some point, literally my ears pricked up, man. I was just like, whoa, Doctor Strange? Like, seriously, and this was in the climate where they were talking about the Avengers. They were talking about doing an Avengers movie. And then they name-dropped Doctor Strange. So, like, I'm like, because, you know, it's not something that you hear. You know, you hear a lot about sequels, and you hear a lot about movies grounded in realism. Doctor Strange was always something that I thought couldn't be done. Not for the expectations that you guys are thinking. A lot of people think that, oh, if you can't do this movie, it must be because of special effects. Wrong. In some cases, a particular culture that a movie could be released in plays a huge role. Like I mentioned before, in the mid-2000s, movies were either really colorful and over the top in a bad way, like Fantastic Four, or they were trying to go very gritty, realistic, like with the Dark Knight trilogy, and heck, even the first Iron Man movie to a degree. So something like Doctor Strange honestly felt like it would come way out of left field, because Marvel was building up this universe with a lot of Earth-based heroes. You know, you had Iron Man, you had Captain America, you had the Hulk and Thor, which granted, both of those guys, they're very different in comparison to the latter two, but they still kind of fit within the, okay, I could buy everything that's happening around here sort of mantra, you know what I'm saying? But the second I saw that we had a damn talking raccoon and a sentient tree, I was like, alright, let's go, man, we gotta do it. We gotta do freaking Doctor Strange. And here we are, about 3-4 years later, and we have it. And I gotta say, God fucking damn. Bless you, Scott Derrickson. Hashtag Derrickson delivers. That's about to be the hashtag for this entire review. Because a movie that I've been looking forward to for so many years now actually pays off. How many people can say that? I mean, we're all skeptics. We were all skeptics. Look at me. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm very critical of Marvel movies. And in most cases, I'm not really excited for a lot of them going into it. Big three examples. Captain America Civil War, I was kind of hesitant going into it. Ant-Man, hesitant going into it. Thor, well, the Thor movies aren't good, so that was kind of my one that really got it. Yeah, but Iron Man 3, you know, I was very hesitant going into it. So yeah, I'm kind of worried about movies when I go into them. For good reason, because I've been burned many a time before, as a lot of other comic book fans have been burned. But Doctor Strange was just something that I looked at and I'm just like, they gotta show like some type of proof of concept, because this is very delicate. This is a very delicate subject matter. This isn't something that you could easily do on screen. Because if anyone's read Doctor Strange comics before, you know how trippy it gets in that stuff. And when I saw the first concept art, I was like, all right, okay, I think they got this. When I saw that first trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, they definitely got this. And then when I saw that second trailer, followed by that IMAX 3D preview event, bro, I knew the Sorcerer Supreme was in good friggin' hands. So, you know, let's talk about this. First off, all my skepticism has been squashed, right? I had 100% faith in Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose. He directed Delivers from Evil. He directed The Fantastic Sinister. So he has a really good grasp on the supernatural horror genre. So immediately, when they got him to direct it, I was like, all right, okay, good, we got it. So who's playing Steven? Who's playing the Sorcerer freaking Supreme? Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh, damn. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I love him as Sherlock Holmes. I love him in 30 other movies he did in the last 2 years. I love the dude. But Stephen Strange was always something where I was just like, nah, I can't do it. Are they going to make him the obligatory British dude? Nah, don't do this. Don't do this, man. But I had faith in Kevin Feige, and I had faith in Scott Derrickson, and Benedict Cumberbatch. Nobody else I could see as the Doctor, other than this man right here. And it just goes to show you, man, sometimes your skepticisms can be squashed. Sometimes the people that have you going like this, like, I don't know, can end up being the perfect fit for the character. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Tom Holland, and now we have Benedict Cumberbatch. So it's just Marvel with all the wins right there for the casting, man. And speaking of the casting, everybody in this movie was freaking phenomenal. Like, all the choices that they made. Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo, I think he was like the MVP of actors in the MCU. Like, for a debut side character, that dude was freaking insane. And there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with his character, but I think I'll save for a spoiler discussion. If you guys are interested in that, comment down below. But he did fantastic in the movie. Rachel McAdams, I mean, who doesn't love Rachel? I mean, seriously now, come on now. Benedict Wong, awesome. Tilda Swinton, I believe that's what her name is, who portrayed the Ancient One. There was a lot of controversy going into that, which I'm not going to get into here and then, because we get into the whole discussion of whitewashing as it pertains to Hollywood and all that nonsense. And, you know, it's a very legitimate discussion to have. There are general grievances, but in the case of Doctor Strange, I really cannot see it. I really don't, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is one that champions diversity, and anyone who tells you otherwise and how it's just a boys' club, they're fooling themselves. They're fooling themselves. We've got strong female characters, we got strong black characters, we have friggin' characters that were originally white in the comics, portrayed by black actors and other actors of other ethnicities who did fantastic jobs. So I don't know why we're spending so much time on this. Is it because he's Asian? But this is the thing I don't understand about that argument, and I know I said I'm getting into this when I shouldn't. This is what I don't understand. They want this to be like the comics, but the thing that was in the comics, people said is a stereotype. So you want the stereotype to be in the movies, so you complain about the stereotype that you said existed in the comics, and it's just... like, what do you want? Like, seriously, what do you want? Do you want the stereotype that you said is hateful and derogatory? Or do you want the best actor for the job, but that's also whitewashing? And just... you can never win with these people, so just forget it. The important thing is that Tilda fucking killed it, as she always does in every single role that she plays. So, yeah, man, it's all good. It's all freaking good. But yeah, all the cast members did a fantastic job, and... I mean, it's kind of second nature at this point that Marvel is really good with the casting. I mean, we had a couple of blunders here and there early on. I mean, Terrence Howard, yeah. And we're not even going to talk about Iron Man 3, no thank you. But yeah, everyone just did a really good job in this movie, and everybody was funny. The script writing, like, I know a lot of people say that the Marvel movies are all jokes and humorous and all that stuff, but y'all say it like a negative. People say it like that's a bad thing. Like, people shouldn't smile in a damn movie. I mean, goddamn, who raised y'all? Did y'all... well, we ain't getting into that either, man. But the main thing about Doctor Strange that I want y'all to take away with this, more than anything, is that this is a movie without compromise. This movie did so many things without having to hold back. Marvel's literally gotten to the point where they can seriously just do whatever the heck they friggin' want, put the tender loving care into it, and have it be a smash hit critically, commercially, however you want to determine it. It is good, because Doctor Strange, I don't think, is a movie that would have succeeded up until now, because it hasn't built the pedigree, the pedestal for the general public, the culture, to understand such a character. You know what I'm saying? We kind of had to baby, you know, like, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Baby feed, I guess, like when you're feeding a baby. We kind of had to tippy-toe around this sort of thing, because, you know, when we had Thor come to the mix, they were saying that, well, this is the cosmic side, but it's more science-based than anything. And then when Guardians came out, they're just like, yo, fuck it, man. We got this giant-ass tree that talks, and we got this little-ass genetically modified raccoon. So, yeah, man, don't even worry about a thing. So when they did that, I'm like, okay, they got to do magic. They have to do magic. And they nail it. They freaking nail it. The attention to detail in this movie, first off, from a visual side of things, is phenomenal. If you guys have a chance to check this out in IMAX, 3D, or both, please do it. Please do it. I do not recommend people check out things in 3D, because 3D, especially coming from dude with glasses, is one of the most irritating experiences of all time. And it's expensive too. There have only been like 2 to 3 really good 3D movie experiences that I can actually write home about. And this is one of them, because it is specifically modified for 3D. And the footage, if you're seeing it in IMAX, is specifically modified for IMAX. So if you can see it in those formats, I promise you, it is going to be worth the surcharge. The 3D really comes into play when you're looking at the spells and the incantations that are floating along the screen. This is a very different Marvel movie. This is not just punches. This is not just shooting gallery stuff. This is legitimate new stuff that is introduced into the fold. This is the Marvel multiverse from a visual perspective, from everything, the way they're fighting. This is completely unreal. This is straight up ripped from the comics. The stuff that you would see in like the Ditko eras of Doctor Strange, the really early trippy 60s visuals, yeah, recreating this movie one-to-one. And that was one of the things that I was kind of worried about. I was skeptical, how are they going to do this sort of stuff? But they somehow found a way to nail it without any friggin' compromises. That really is the theme of this review, because too often we see that there are experiences where we kind of have to dumb it down for the audience, or we can't go too crazy because how is the audience going to react to that? They just straight up did some stuff that you never would have expected them to do in this movie, and yeah, it worked. It worked. Now, while there are a lot of really cool things to write home about with Doctor Strange, we do have to mention the elephant in the room, and that is the ongoing critique that a lot of Marvel movies face. And that is their villain problem. Something that was really prevalent in Phase 1, especially in Phase 2, with some of the heroes like Thor and Iron Man. We noticed that Marvel has a tendency to kill off their villains, to underplay their villains, to underuse their villains. And, you know, it's a genuine critique that I have made and I've leveled towards Marvel for the longest time. And it's something that they really haven't gotten out of as far as the movies go, because they're killing it in the Netflix scene. But with the movies, I feel like while they aren't giving the villains more screen time, they're giving them more things to do with the allotted time. Because these movies, I like to think, are focused more on introducing the heroes and getting you attached to them than just the villains. While it does suck that some of the people like Malekith, you know, get shafted in the Thor movies, I think that for what they're doing now, like with people like Zemo and Cassius in Doctor Strange, I believe that's what his name was, right? Cassius, something like that. It starts with a K, and he's played by Hannibal. I think that what they're doing with these guys, with the time that they're given, it's actually interesting. They're utilized. You get to see more about them than simply just being a plot convenience to move the plot forward with Thor or a fake out with Iron Man 3. But again, I'll touch more on that in the spoiler-filled review. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that was all I wanted to say about Doctor Strange. Short, sweet, to the point. This is one of the best introductions for not only a superhero on film, but for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In my personal opinion, this is the best origin story because it managed to do so much without compromise, without friggin' compromise. And I hope this is a trend for Marvel movies going forward. I hope we get to see those big epic battles that we always see in the comics. Somebody like Thanos, somebody, you know, in the realm of Captain Marvel, just seeing them unhinged and just go to friggin' town, man. I'm really excited about what the future holds, and if anything, this is a good indication of what's to come. So let me know what you guys thought about Doctor Strange down below in the comment section. See, I caught myself right there. I was about to just do another take, but I'm like, nah. We're doing it, man. My name is NGS, signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.